What is going on, everybody? 4 for 4 Philly fan back at it again with another YouTube video. Today, we will be talking about the Philadelphia Phillies, kind of how I'm thinking about the whole JT arbitration deal that just happened, my expectations for the team, Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, Didi, everything. So, an hour ago, hour and a half, the Phillies and JT Realmuto had an arbitration meeting in Arizona, and basically JT wanted more money for his 1-year arbitration. He wanted $12.4 million, and the Phillies wanted to only give him 10. So they had a meeting. JT stated why he wants that. Whatever. JT next season will only make $10 million. He lost his case for the arbitration. I really don't think it has anything to do with his long-term, contract that hopefully they will be getting on to soon, because you can't lose a guy like JT Realmuto. He is literally the best catcher in baseball. He is. He hits. He's one of the best defending catchers I've ever seen. The dude, he's amazing at what he does, and you can't lose a guy like JT. Losing a guy that can field the way he does and hit the way he does. He was a Silver Slugger and a Gold Glove winner, so he could do both. He's excellent at both. So when you look at it, if you lose a guy like JT, who's probably going to be batting third this year, or not third, like second, fifth, somewhere in that lineup, if you lose a guy like him, it sets you back. It sets you back a lot. And you just can't lose a guy like JT Realmuto. You can't. It really will set you back a ton. With that being said, I'm expecting a contract to come out in a couple weeks, maybe a month or so. They said they were already working on it. JT said whatever happens with the arbitration deal, nothing will happen. Nothing will change the way he feels about wanting to play for the Phillies in the future with Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins. I mean, obviously, the money maker, the deal breaker in all of the MLB with the Phillies is, I want to play with Bryce Harper. Now I want to play with Bryce Harper, the best catcher in baseball, and with Joe Girardi. That's what you can say now, if you're a free agent or anything like that. The Phillies' problem is, though, that they're not spending the money that we thought they would. They didn't make a move on Mookie Betts, who's now on the Dodgers, and so is David Price. If you traded with the Red Sox and got Mookie and David Price, one, that adds a starting pitcher into your rotation, which you kind of need, and it gives you an outfield with 3 MVPs. McCutchen in left, Mookie in center, and Bryce in right. Or McCutchen in center, whatever. You have 3 MVPs in your outfield. That would have been huge. And it adds a big bat. There's your 2. You can have Didi as your 1. You can have Kingery as your 1. You can have McCutchen as your 1. You have... Your lineup would be stacked with Mookie Betts on this team. But, as we all know, he is now an LA Dodger, which sucks because the Dodgers didn't need anything else. They played a red-hot Washington Nationals team just like everybody else did, and they ended up losing in the second round of the playoffs, and we all know what happened from there. Astros lost to the Nationals, and now we're here. Bryce Harper. I love Bryce Harper. All of Philadelphia loves Bryce Harper. So, I was having a little bit of an argument with, some guys on Instagram talking about Bryce Harper and his max deal. As a Phillies fan, I would do that deal every day. Every day. Not even thinking about it. A guy like Bryce Harper doesn't come to Philadelphia many times. Yeah, you can draft a guy like Joel and Ben, and you could draft them. That's different. But For a guy like Bryce Harper, with his talent, coming to the Phillies willingly, wanting to play under Phillies organization, wanting to play with guys like Rhys Hoskins and Scott Kingery and Aaron Nola, that's big. So when I say to that, I would do that deal 1,000 times over. I would do it every day. The man hit 35 home runs, 114 RBIs, and batted .260 on the season without an offseason. Yeah, you could say, oh, well, he had spring training. No. He was working on deals. He was going to meetings. He was flying all across the country to see where he is going to continue playing baseball for the rest of his career. He wanted a long-term deal. He wanted to play where his family wanted him to play. You know, obviously he had intentions of having a kid before the season started. All these things played into where Bryce Harper was going to play, and it took a lot of time and thought about where do I want to play the rest of my MLB career. Do I want to stay in Washington? Do I want to go to the Dodgers? Do I want to team up with Mike Trout? And he chose the Philadelphia Phillies. And I would do that deal. I can't express it enough. I would do that deal every day of my life. Because Bryce Harper's don't come into Philadelphia much. We know that. We know that. As Philadelphia fans, we know Bryce Harper's do not just come walking in. This isn't LA. This isn't New York. This isn't Boston. It's Philly. And to lay down and say, I want to win a championship with the Philadelphia Phillies, and I want to sign this 13-year, $330 million deal. It means a lot to the fans. It means a lot to the organization. And people that aren't Phillies fans, I don't think they get it. I don't think they get what it means for a guy like Bryce Harper to come to Philadelphia. That's my little take on Bryce Harper. And this season, I think he's going to go off. He has an off season. He has the chemistry. He has a new coach. He is the star player. Bryce Harper is the star of this team. He's the star of any team that he would go to, except if it was LA, both LAs or New York, maybe. I don't know. I think he's better than Judge. I mean, I don't know. I think he's very underrated. I think he is very underrated right now. And I think Bryce is going to have a big season coming up for the Phillies. I really do. Another guy I think is going to have a great season, Rhys Hoskins. Now, Rhys Hoskins started off hot. He started off on fire. And then, towards the end, the second half of the season, Rhys Hoskins was almost unplayable at times. He was unplayable. And I think now he switched his swing up. It's a lot shorter. It's a lot, in more. I think Rhys is going to have a bounce-back season. I just think he was being overwhelmed with Bryce and having to hit after Harper. And he wasn't getting as many RBIs and he wasn't getting as many home runs. He still led the league in walks. He was getting on base. It's not like his on-base percentage was awful. He just couldn't hit. And that's what you need from your power hitter. Bryce gets on with a walk. You want Rhys Hoskins to hit him in. I mean, the goal of the game is to win. You need to score runs to win baseball games. You can't throw a perfect game and not have any runs going on your offense. You're eventually going to lose that perfect game, and then you could lose the game. But I think Rhys Hoskins is going to have a very good year coming up. And I could be wrong on all of this. It's a prediction. And I think Bryce Harper and Rhys Hoskins and JT are going to be the three-headed monster that we all know they can be. Rhys, JT, Bryce, wherever they are in the lineup, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Those three are going to be something scary for years to come. Because Reese is going to get his, JT's going to get his, Bryce already has his in contract terms. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, Andrew McCutchen was talking to Joe Girardi saying how he wanted to be ready, that he thinks he's going to be ready for opening day. McCutchen only played 58 games of the season. In those 58 games, the Phillies looked like contenders. They looked like serious contenders. And I think with the loss of McCutchen last year, I think it played a huge part in where the Phillies ended up last season. He's not only a good baseball player, but he's a leader. He hasn't had the postseason success as guys like Judge has and Mookie and those guys like that. He hasn't had that postseason success. He's been on the Giants. He's been on the Pirates. He's been around the league a little bit for the last couple years of his career. We signed him to a 3-year deal. He missed last season. He has 2 years left. He's still a great baseball player. He's still a good baseball player. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's an MVP. I think McCutchen is huge. I think he is a huge piece for this Phillies team. And I'm excited to have him back in the lineup. And hopefully he can stay healthy. Because we need him. We needed him last year, and we need him this year. So now on to the rotation. You have Nola, you have Wheeler, you have Arrieta, Eflin, Velasquez. But there's one name that people are still talking about during spring training. And it's the name that nobody can stand in Philadelphia. And his name is Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta last season was awful. He was unwatchable. Every time he pitched, it was torture. But now people are saying, watch out for Nick Pivetta. Watch out. Look, I don't care. I don't care if I don't like the guy. If he can pitch, I'll learn to like him. If he can win a game in a playoff series, go ahead. I want pitching. You have Spencer Howard. You have Alec Bohm. You have those guys. And Alec Bohm, you have those prospects. You traded your best pitching prospect in Sixto Sanchez last season, but you got JT out of it. Nobody's going to want Nick Pivetta anymore. Nobody's going to want him. So now it's his turn. It's his time to prove what he can do what he can do. Arrieta's another question mark in the rotation, along with Eflin and Velasquez. Velasquez is very streaky, and Eflin started off good, played in the middle awful, and then ended good. Because they realized, all right, Eflin, Zach, just go out, do whatever you want. And he was better. He was a lot better last season when he did what he did to get himself into the MLB. He was a lot better. And with Arrieta, if he can stay healthy, he's still a solid 3. He could be a solid 3 in this rotation. Now that's it for this video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm ready for baseball. I'm ready for it. And I can't wait to watch what this team does. I think Girardi's good for another 10-15 wins. Now that's it for this video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.